Way over yonder in the land of Babylon, old King Nebuchadnezzar was on the throne, and he told his people, said, build a golden idol out there on the plain of Dura, and tell everybody in the kingdom that I said, bow down and worship that golden idol. So they went out there and they built that golden idol, but there was three stiff-necked men in the kingdom that wouldn't do it. They was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So King Nebuchadnezzar said, take them and throw them in the fire and burn them up. So they took and they threw them in the fiery furnace, but they didn't get burned up because there was a fourth man in the fire. Now the prophet Daniel tells about three men that walked with God, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Before the wicked king they stood. Now the king commanded them bound and thrown into the fiery coals that day. But the fire was so hot the men were slain, that forced them on their way. They wouldn't bend, they held on to the will of God, so we are told. They wouldn't bow, they would not bow their knees to the idols made of gold. They would not burn, they were protected by the fourth man in the fire. They wouldn't bend, they wouldn't bow, they wouldn't burn. Now when the three were cast in and the king rose up to witness their awful fate, he began to tremble at what he saw, and astonished tones he spake. Did we not cast three men bound into the midst of the fire? I believe I see four men unhurt, unbound and walking down there. I see Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego in the fiery coals they trod. But the form of the fourth man that I see is like the Son of God. They wouldn't bend, they held on to the will of God, so we are told. Wouldn't bow, they would not bow their knees to the idols made of gold. They would not burn, they were protected by the fourth man in the fire. They wouldn't bend, they wouldn't bow, they wouldn't burn. They wouldn't bend, they held on to the will of God, so we are told. They wouldn't bow, they would not bow their knees to the idols made of gold. They wouldn't burn, they were protected by the fourth man in the fire. They wouldn't bend, they wouldn't bow, they wouldn't burn. They wouldn't bend, they wouldn't bow, they wouldn't burn.